Malik Monk out of Kentucky shoots nearly 8 three-pointers a game in college right now, where he shoots over 40%. And given that we're in 2017 of the NBA, where people love three-pointers, it's safe to assume he can make an impact once he enters the league. Can it be for the Philadelphia 76ers? Let's talk about it. Remember when Sam Hinkie was the laughingstock of a lot of people on Twitter because of his whole trust the process mantra, and people were just like, what are you doing? You're intentionally losing here. Well, it seems like everybody's eating their words, as Joel Embiid is already the greatest player in the history of the NBA, because when he is on the floor for the Sixers, they're actually a respectable basketball team, which is crazy to say if you've been following the NBA for the past couple of seasons, which I assume you are if you're watching this video, and if you're not following the NBA, subscribe anyway because I like self-promotion. It seems like Joel Embiid is going to be a really big deal for a long time for Philadelphia. His ability when it comes to pretty much everything is just through the roof as a center. He's basically a cheat code. You know Magic Johnson in the 80s? How people looked at him and thought he was probably a cheat code, although they didn't use that phrasing because video games weren't as popular? Basically the same thing now with Joel Embiid. The athleticism, the defense, as well as his low post ability, his shooting, as well as his execution when it comes to his tweets. Joel Embiid is the perfect 2017 star player for the Philadelphia 76ers, and then we add on top of that the Australian LeBron James, Ben Simmons, who I believe is Australian. It would be really awkward if he wasn't and I made that joke for nothing. It seems like his abilities to put the ball on the floor with his size, grab a rebound, go coast to coast, even if he hasn't played a game for the Philadelphia 76ers just yet, Simmons seems like another franchise-leading piece. So when you have these two guys who can be the foundation of potentially a title contender, you're going to need other guys around him, and we're going to talk about Malik Monk a little bit more and how he fits into these guys, but let's talk about the rest of the roster. TJ McConnell seems intriguing at the point guard position. He's very good from within the three-point line when it comes to scoring, and his defense is pretty tough as well. I think he just has to develop that three-point shot so he can really play off of Embiid and Simmons. There is also Dario Saric, who does have that outside jumper right now. If Simmons and Embiid want to run their two-man game, you better not help off a Saric, or else it's going to be probably 3 points on the board. But now when we talk about the shooting guard position, it's a little empty. There's Luau Cabaret, who's got a great name but is going to take some years to develop. Sauce Castillo, aka Stauskas, a three-point shooter off the bench at the most. Gerald Henderson I can say the same for. I don't know if they have a real difference maker at the two-guard position at this very moment, which is why you could insert Malik Monk into this thing, who has been on several mock drafts that I've looked at with the Sixers drafting him. And I do think that he could be like the ultimate floor spacer for this Philadelphia team. But I also think there's a chance he could be even more than that for these guys, so let's dive into it with Malik Monk out of Kentucky. Now, if Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons want to run a pick and roll, and the defense knows what they're doing, they're going to want to bring help defense, and in that very moment, because Ben Simmons is an awesome passer, if you choose to help off of Malik Monk, you're pretty much dead in the water, because it's going to be 3 points going up, and if you combine that with putting Dario Saric on the floor as well, this team could be extremely difficult to defend. And when Embiid is in the post, I think Monk could also do a lot of damage there because, I mean, Joel Embiid's probably going to command a lot of double teams with his abilities down on the low block. Kick it out to Malik Monk, and that's going to be a problem for the defense. But he's not perfect either. Speaking of defense, I think there is a valuable question of, can he really be something on that side of the floor? Because if you have an ability to help your team out offensively, but then you're going to give those points back on the other end because you just can't stop anybody, that's going to be a problem. So can he at least grow into a decent enough defensive player? He's 200 pounds, so he's light, but at 6'3", he is on the shorter side of things. But another question I have with him is, can he be someone where the ball can be in his hands and he can create stuff for himself as well as his teammates? In college, he's averaging 2 assists. He's not exactly a natural playmaker. That doesn't mean that it can't happen in the NBA, and he can at least develop somewhat of a passer's ability, but hopefully he's just not one-dimensional on offense is what I'm getting at. But also, can he create his own shot in the NBA too? Because, in college, there have been times when he can do it, even if he does love those outside jumpers. But if he's someone who can really force the issue and have the ball in his hands and perhaps be the leader of a second unit for the Sixers when Ben Simmons is not in the game, then Monk's value for them could be huge. I mean, if he can be someone who can play with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and be someone the defense has to constantly worry about when it comes to his shooting there, but then also be someone who can lead the offense when Ben Simmons is not in the game as a ball handler, then he could really be like the perfect shooting guard for these Philadelphia 76ers. I think a similar thing we're seeing in the league today is with Eric Gordon and the Houston Rockets, with how he can play off of James Harden but then lead the offense when Harden's not in the game. Perhaps Monk could really do the same thing, because, of course, we assume Ben Simmons is going to be the primary ball handler of this team, someone who can just be a point forward, pretty much similar to LeBron James, maybe not as good as him, and then a significant amount of the offense is going to run through Joel Embiid as well. If you have that third guy who can create his own shot and play off of those two at the same time, it could be huge. Now, what will the Sixers end up doing in the 2017 draft? I don't know. They may even be towards the bottom of the top 10, given that they've been winning some games lately. But I think Monk can definitely be a scorer and a shooter in the NBA. The only question is, could he round out his entire game and really be something?